NFC East continues. Last year, 13-3 straight up, 10-6 ATS, 8-8 with the totals, plus 11 in the turnover battle. That was good for fourth in the league. Frank Reich's gone. I don't think that really matters as Peterson calls the plays. You see him with the Denny's sheet, Denny's menu in front of him all the time. DeFilippo's gone as well, the quarterback coach. So a lot of change, overhaul with the coaching staff. Bennett comes in, Wallace, Haloti Nada, Selleck's gone, Torrey Smith gone as well. They no need to rush Wentz back as you win the Super Bowl with Foles. He was terrific in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl. So remember, Wentz did get hurt late in the season, so we'll see what happens there. But this is a sick roster, Teddy, a deep roster where you can win a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, also great running game, good offensive line, and solid defense as well. The mainstream stats, they were 7th in total offense, third with the rushing attack, 4th total defense, and 1st against the run defensively.
Yeah, I mean, every mainstream stat they had last year was rock solid. There was nothing fraudulent about the Philadelphia Eagles trip to the Super Bowl and to winning the Super Bowl. They did it because they earned it. And you look at the makeup of the roster, and this wasn't a roster that was decimated by free agency in the offseason. The coaching staff a little bit. I am concerned about Frank Reich being gone. Frank Reich kept teams off balance all year last year. And now you've got a first-time offense coordinator in Mike Groh, Al Groh's Al Groh's son. He was a quarterback at Virginia under his dad. He got his first NFL job because his dad gave it to him. And not that the sons who've, grown up playing football haven't become really good offense coordinators. Certainly Kyle Shanahan's a guy that comes to mind in that regard. But Frank Reich was great. And I don't expect Mike Groh to be great coming into the campaign. I really don't. That's an issue. Of course, they retained Jim Schwartz on the defensive side of the football. Groh got the job over Deuce Staley, by the way. He was promoted to assistant head coach, but he did not get the play-calling duties. But on the defensive side, Jim Schwartz is back. And for all the success that Philadelphia had offensively and all the Carson Wentz and Nick Foles and Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, their defense won in the Super Bowl last year, every bit as much as their offense. And that defense is loaded, Pauly, loaded. In addition, they pick up Michael Bennett as a pass rushing force from Seattle in free agency. That another good move to solidify the trenches for the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Well, maybe he's a head case. We'll see what he has left in the tank as well. Now, the September 6, 2018, the season opener was circled on the calendar for Wentz return. Already doing individual drills and OTAs, looking like he's moving well on the injured knee. Who's this quote here? Wentz. Right, everyone asks, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be ready? And if I knew, I'd tell them. For where I'm at, I felt extremely good. I felt extremely comfortable going forward. The next step in the rehab will be participating fully in practices. Good injury, good problem to have that they don't have to rush him back because Foles was awesome in the last 2 playoff games. And they actually could have, there was a lot of some offers out there for him too, but they said no as they wanted a lot in return but couldn't get a deal done. But it's I'm not worried about the loss of Smith either, as this team's loaded on offense. Blunt leaves as well. He went to Detroit. Why do people get rid of this guy? He was great in New England. He was great with Philly. Now he signs for 1 year, $4.5 million with the Lions.
Why do people keep getting rid of this guy? One might assume there might be some issues in the locker room, but it's running backs. Running backs are going to go all over the league. Nobody's at this stage in the NFL. People don't overpay running backs, which wasn't the case 5, 10, 20 years ago. He wants money. Bye-bye. They did lose a couple of key pieces in free agency. You said you're not worried about Torrey Smith. Brent Selleck gone at tight end. They lose Bo Allen off the defensive line. They lose Patrick Robinson out of the secondary. So there are some losses. This team not necessarily quite as good as they were a season ago, but there's nothing to be ashamed of in Philadelphia. This team comes into the campaign with a legitimately elite roster on both sides of the football. But let me tell you, Pauly, it is tough schedule-wise for the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles. AFC South and NFC South, 2 competitive divisions with not a lot of bottom feeders. The 2 extra games for Philadelphia, how about this? But yet the Vikings and the Rams, arguably the 2 other best teams besides Philly, in the NFC. So from a scheduling standpoint, there's a reason the Eagles have been taking a little bit of under money. Open 10.5. We've seen some under money. There are some 10s out there. There's juice if you want to bet them under 10.5 right now. And that has everything to do with the coordinator change on offense and a schedule that is significantly tougher than it was a season ago, and a schedule that, doesn't give them a whole lot of easy games when you look up and down, top to bottom. Philly's going to be tested this year. Defending Super Bowl champs often are. That being said, they do have that level of confidence moving forward, having won everything they were supposed to win last year. But this is the question. QB controversy, do we see anything? Wentz, Foles, everything's been fine so far. What happens if Wentz isn't ready to go and Foles lights him up the first couple of weeks? What happens if Wentz is ready to go and he has a bad game or 2 or 3? I see some issues, some potential issues for Philadelphia.
Come on.
Not a team I'm looking to bet over.
Yeah, not going to be a quarterback controversy, please. When Wentz is ready, they'll put him in. He'll be fine. He's the franchise. I did not like the league putting Atlanta on there to start the season. That should be Minnesota. Should be a rematch of the NFC title game, and the Vikings get the biggest offseason acquisition, signing Cousins. But they open the season, the champs, Thursday night with that Thursday night game on NBC. Also, the fascinating thing about the NFC, it's wide open. There's so many good teams, and they all play each other. That's the other great thing about this. I mean, the Rams signed all these guys. The Eagles are going to be tough to beat. The Vikings bring in Cousins. Rodgers is back. Garoppolo mania with San Francisco. So it's the Saints are going to be good. Carolina won double-digit games. Atlanta won double-digit games. So this is going to be wide open in the NFC, and they all play each other as well. Going to be fascinating. But I see your point with you don't want the over with the Eagles because it's so competitive. And, not an easy division. Did the Giants bounce back? Alex Smith to the Redskins now? Do the Cowboys win 9-10 games? It's tough.
Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.